So remember a few days ago when I was like, I miss book shopping, I should go book shopping again? Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If you haven't been here before, my name is Cameron. I make videos about books and reading and all sorts of things like that, and I really like doing it, and we have such a fun time here. But last week, I did a video where I set up these lovely bookshelves. If you haven't seen it yet, I recommend you go watch it. It's a pretty good video. I liked making it. And in that video, I was like, you know, setting up these bookshelves has really got me in the mood to go buy books and read more books and stuff like that. So what did I immediately do after I finished filming? Well, I texted a buddy of mine and was like, let's go book shopping. So here we are, and I bought quite a bit of books. Do you like my Snoopy bag? I know it's not really the season for it, but he's so cute. I love him. Yeah, so before I start telling you which books I got, I went to two different bookstores. One was Barnes & Noble. We love Barnes & Noble. But the more important one was a small business here in Lexington called Joseph Beth Booksellers. We had a great time. Huge store. But this is where I bought most of my books. So, as your friendly little reminder, shop local, shop small businesses. That's your reminder. That's all I really had to tell you. So, my rules about book buying generally. I will not buy a book I've never read before unless they are no-buy authors. No-buy. Wrong. Unless they are like definite buy authors. Like I've bought several of their books. They're always a win. My cat is playing with a spring, if you're hearing rustling right now. But anyway, I have two authors in here that I have not read the books that I bought from them, but I like their work enough and I've liked several of their books enough that I'm like, I don't feel bad buying this because I feel pretty good about liking these books. So, hey baby, you wanna bring that to me? No, she doesn't. She doesn't want to bring it to me. Okay, but anyway, so that's that. And then a bunch of the books are books that I have already read before. So I'm going to give you little synopses and like let you know what I thought of them. And yeah, so that's what I got for you today. Unfortunately, I didn't get any footage in the bookstore because I didn't realize I was going to turn this into a video, which was dumb of me because I feel like every time I go book shopping, I turn it into a video. But that's an aside. Anyway, so we're going to basically go through and talk about the books that I bought. So here we go. Okay, so starting out, delightful. I don't love this cover, but it was what they had, and I have been dying to own this book. It's Kindred by Octavia, am I covering her name? By Octavia Butler. This is a story, it's a sci-fi. Octavia Butler was a sci-fi kind of fantasy author. Incredible. If you've never picked up one of her books, so good. Kindred is one of her two standalone novels, and it is about a black woman in the 70s who keeps getting transported back in time to her white slave-owning ancestor and just kind of explores her relationship with that family history and her it's an exploration between modern times, because the book came out in the 70s or 80s, and slave owning time. So really good. I just adore it. It probably was one of my favorite reads of last year. I read this standalone and her other standalone, Fledgling, and I've also heard Parable of the Sower, and that book series is incredible, and I think I might want to read it this year. But apparently there's a lot of like similarities between real life and that, and I am nervous about that, so I don't know if I want to commit yet. What? What's your problem? Anyway, but yeah, so I think probably if there's one book recommendation you can take from this video, it's this one. So if you only wanted one book recommendation, you can click away now. Thanks for joining. Okay, so moving on to other books. I loved this one. I am a huge Casey McQuiston fan. They have released 4 books now, and I just got their newest, the 4th, The Pairing. It is about 2 exes who go on a European trip together. Unintentionally, they accidentally book the same European trip, and kind of their exploration of like re-entering each other's lives and the experiences they're having with each other and just on this trip. And there's also, because it's the pairing, one of them went to a pastry school and the other one is a sommelier. I think. So yeah, it's just kind of a fun like ex's story essentially, and it's a romance book, so you can guess how that ends up going. But Casey McQuiston particularly has really, really good characters that I really enjoy reading, and they're also really good at writing banter. So if you like kind of the quick-witted back and forth stuff, communication, this is definitely the book for you. Now, if you've read any of their other works, and you're looking for something a little smuttier, this one is probably the smuttiest of the four, if I had to guess. Personally. But yeah, just a queer romance, very cute, very sexy. I had a great time reading it, and I'm excited to have the newest Casey McQuiston book since I have the other three. So, moving on. So I said Kindred was probably one of the ones that I would recommend, and I have another one that I want to recommend. It is Richard Wright's Native Son. Incredible book. It is about a young black man who accidentally kills a young white woman, and kind of the implications of that and what happens to him after that point, and it's kind of a descent into madness type story, and it takes place in the 1950s when it was written, and it's so good, and unfortunately it still feels very relevant to today. But I have been trying to pick up more and more classic novels written by black authors, and if you're looking to start anywhere on that, Richard Wright, that's your guy. I also read The Man Who Lived Underground, which is one of his short stories, I want to say. I don't think it was more than 100 pages. So it explores a lot of the same topics though, so if you're interested in reading about that or reading Richard Wright's works, and you don't want to commit to a 300-page book, 450-page book, The Man Who Lived Underground is also a really good one. But that's this one. I also really recommend that. So if you're looking for a classics rec, ding ding ding, this is your guy. Oh, and of course we have to talk about the #1 best book of the century according to the New York Times, My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I read this months before they announced it to be the best book of the century so far. And it's really good. It's just kind of a story of two young girls living in Italy, and they're growing up, and it's the first book of a series. I believe the series is called the Neapolitan series, but it's just kind of an exploration of these two young girls as they grow up, and it's from their childhood, like right when they first meet, all the way up to when one of the characters gets married. So yeah, I really enjoyed the book. I think it was a nice, peaceful read. I think it was just a really good literary fiction. Is it my personal best book of the century so far? I don't know, but it is definitely up there. It's very well written. It's a translated work too. We love our translators here. We love our translators here. So if you're looking for a translated work, or you're trying to get through the New York Times best books of the century so far, like I kind of am, this one's your gal. Okay. Oh, this was also on the list of best books of the century so far. This is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. It's different perspectives leading up to and during and years after the apocalypse happens, surrounding a troupe of performers that goes around the post-apocalyptic world and performs like Shakespeare and does orchestra performances. Okay, bye. Yeah, and it's one of those things that weaves a lot of different narratives together, and you kind of don't know where everything is going to go immediately, and you kind of have to make your way through the book to be like, aha, I figured it out. But just a really good read. It's only about 330 pages. It's only about 330 pages. Not the longest book was the point I was making. Not the longest book in this video, but just like a really good read. And it also details like life in a pandemic and the world after a pandemic and stuff like that. Obviously a little bit more sci-fi, like significantly more of the world was upended and stuff like that. But it's just kind of a story about why we need art and connection and stuff like that. I really like this book. I was very delighted to finally own it. So yeah, that is Station 11. I got another one for my class. Hold on, gotta let the sanitation truck drive by. I got another one for my classic shelf. If you watched last week's video, I was like, I need more classics. So I did get another one. It's Carmilla by J. Sheridan Le Fanu, Joseph Sheridan. Some copies say J, like the initial, and some copies say Joseph. I don't know why, but Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu. It is the story that inspired Dracula, just about a young woman who meets a woman called Carmilla and is immediately entranced by her, and Carmilla is like definitely a vampire. A really short read, less than 150 pages, if you can't tell right there. Super gay. I read it and like people like joked to me like, oh, Carmilla is like very queer fiction, and I was like, yeah, whatever, thinking that it wouldn't be so overt. No, it's absolutely overt. It's very good. You can definitely see points that the author of Dracula, Bram Stoker, took from this to build Dracula. And if you don't know me, if you've never been here before, Dracula is one of my all-time favorite classics. So if you're looking for a shorter, gayer version of Dracula, Carmilla is your girl. I really like this book. If you haven't already gauged by the books that I buy that I've already read, I have to like them pretty well, like 4 or 5 stars probably. So this is just a nice long list of recommendations for you. You're welcome. Okay, so moving right along. I did get, oh my gosh, one of the most tragic books of all time. I'm pulling these out of the bag if you couldn't tell. Let me take them all out. So, one of a deeply tragic book, but an excellent read nonetheless, is Mouse. YouTube, please don't flag me for that cover. It's just the design of the cover. But it is written by Art Spiegelman, and it is the story of his father's time in Auschwitz during World War II, and they're all mice. And it was because it's easier, I think, to draw a parallel between different animals for kids than it is maybe just to be like, they're different people groups. But long story short, it is the graphic novel story of Art Spiegelman's father and kind of what he went through during World War II and the effects that it had on their family. And it goes back and forth between obviously the father talking about his experiences and then Art talking about writing this and getting all this story told to him from his father. I adore this book. It's a Pulitzer Prize winner. Pulitzer Prize, I believe, is technically how you pronounce it. But it's just a really, really good graphic novel. It's also a banned book. Ding, ding, ding. We love and support banned books here because there's no reason books should be banned, and the only people who ban books are bad people. So, yeah, and it's actually genuinely a really good, even though they're like mice, it's actually a really good historical resource for like what happened in those camps. So if you're also just looking to learn more about that, this is a great book. A lot of times I believe it's sold in multiple volumes. I went ahead and spent a decent amount of money to get it all in one volume, but just incredible. It is such a good book. I'm so delighted to own it. I don't know where I'm gonna put it on my shelf, which is a little full right now, but I will find an area because I just adore this book. So, the kids are fighting. Okay, so this is probably the most recent read on my book. This is probably the most recent book that I finished, that I bought, but it's called One of Our Kind by Nicola Yoon. It is a psychological thriller about a young family that moves into, a young black family that moves into an all-black neighborhood, and then weird stuff starts happening, and the mother in this family kind of starts noticing some spooky stuff going on. Really, really good psychological thriller. I had a great time reading it. I also picked up this book because I was like, oh, I love this book, and then got home and realized it's a signed first edition by the author, Nicola Yoon. And I'm not complaining. Like, I'll take it. It was a great book. But that definitely was a reason why I kind of spent a lot of money, was because I accidentally got a signed edition. Worth it though. I thought this book was excellent. It's also obviously very politically charged, so if you're compelled by stories of being black in America today, this is a great book. And it also kept me on the edge of my seat. It's one of the most recent books that I've been like, I have to finish this immediately, like reading it so fast and everything. And I just really liked it. I really liked it. So I went ahead and got that. So that is the full list of books that I have read before. I know I like. I can 100%. A school bus just drove by, so I was like, what time is it? Yeah, these are all the books that I can like definitely 100% recommend. I've read them before, I really enjoyed them. Now, You might not like everything that I like, but if you find that you have liked my recommendations in the past, right there, those books are your ones. So we have 2 no-buy authors. God, I keep saying no-buy. I don't mean to say no-buy. 2 always buy authors. So 2 always buy authors. This is the final book I bought from Joseph Beth because I saw it on the shelf and I didn't realize he had a new book out. But The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune. I love TJ Klune's cozy fantasy. I particularly really liked, what's the name of it? Hold on. I particularly love Under the Whispering Door and In the Lives of Puppets. Regarding TJ Klune, I was not so impressed with the older fiction, but I think he's really found his wheelhouse in... Hey, pal? I think he's really found his wheelhouse in writing like cozy fantasy in recent years. I am so sorry. I don't know what my cat is doing. He's being a problem though. Anyway, I think TJ Klune, I've read a few of his older works. I don't love them so much, but I think he's really found a wheelhouse. And I also think he's one of the more popular fantasy authors who is writing about asexual characters, which we love. We love ace characters, but I don't know anything about this book. That's the nature of the always buy list, is I will just go ahead and get a book that I like. So, ta-da! I also need to read Somewhere Beyond the Sea, another book of his. I don't really want to give money to that series because I don't love how it was like conceptualized, but I would like to get it from my library. And if you've been here before, you know we love supporting our libraries here. I know this is a book buying video, but 95% of the books that I read in a year, library. They come from the library. I love the library. Thank you, library. Very cool. So yeah, I know nothing about this book, but yeah, kind of a good time. I'm excited to read it. I'm excited to see what we got. And I was going to go ahead and read it as soon as I got home. However, I forgot that a certain book came out last week, 2 weeks ago at this point. And I got all of these books from Joseph Beth, like I mentioned. Did not see a single trace. Oh, I'm so excited to read this book. I didn't see a single trace because they were all gone of Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, which is the newest Hunger Games book. If you've been on this channel before, you know I adore this series. I think it is so good. I think it's going to be a classic once it becomes old enough because, oh my gosh, it's so good. Sunrise on the Reaping. Like, let me loop back around to the story. But anyway, my dear friend Eli, hello if they're watching this, just texted me and was like, did you get the new book? And I was like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot. So we had to run to Barnes & Noble a few days later to get this, but I got it. I got it yesterday. So I think the next video you guys are gonna see from me is a reading vlog of this. I am so excited. It's the story, if you're familiar with the Hunger Games at all, it's Haymitch Abernathy's story. So Katniss, the protagonist of the original trilogy, her mentor, Haymitch, this is his story, because in order to become a mentor, you have to be a previous winner. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I will probably finish recording this video and immediately start recording my reading vlog for this because I'm so excited to read this. I'm so excited. So that is what I got for you today. As you can tell, I'm very happy with this book haul. I need to set it on the shelf where it appropriately goes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my recommendations. I hope you enjoyed the things I look for when I buy. If you've read any of these books before, particularly the ones that I have not read yet, tell me what you thought of them. Give it a little comment down below. And also, do you guys bookshop? Are you guys more likely to bookshop often and get like 1 or 2 books? Or are you like me and you only go book shopping like once every 3 months and spend like $200 on things? Let me know. Tell me your guys' book shopping tendencies. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a little like. If you've seen multiple of my videos at this point that you've liked, then no harm in subscribing. You can see what I'm posting. I try to post every Sunday and occasionally I make a little short. So if you want some shorter content. What else? Yeah, I think that's all I really have for you today. So today's goals for you, of course, read the new Hunger Games so you can prepare for my next video, which is going to be a reading vlog of it. Of course, shop small businesses, specifically look for small bookstores. Chain bookstores are fine as long as you're not shopping at Amazon, but If you have a small bookstore in your town that you've never checked out, go check it out this week. Go see what's going on there. And of course, go visit and support your local libraries. I will see you all later. Goodbye.